Communicating with a girl for many guys may seem like a difficult task, especially if you have any feelings towards her. Nevertheless, there are several psychological tricks that work flawlessly on representatives of the opposite sex. How can your actions convince a girl that she likes you, how to behave when meeting, and how to use the first impression effect correctly? In today's issue, we will tell you about 5 psychological tricks that work on any girl. Let's go! First impression. This item is about how our feelings affect our emotions. There are a huge number of tips on this topic. We will tell you the basic information. On the first date, it is very important to make a pleasant impression, which consists of several things: appearance, behavior, and the chosen place. Women are sensitive to the neatness of men. Even in simple clothes, individual style and good taste can be seen. Do not forget about it. Focus on elegance. For the first meeting, this is a win-win option. Choose interesting places or reasons for a date and do not assign them in the same place 10 times in a row. Try to choose places where it will be interesting for you and both. Perhaps the last Fast and Furious is a great action movie about cool guys' cars, but it's not at all necessary that your companion will want to watch just such a movie. Also, do not forget about manners. Always try to come a little in advance. When getting acquainted, easily touch the girl's elbow or shoulder with your hand and greet her by name. Such a touch is not intrusive. At the same time it helps to get in touch with a person and establish relationships. Also try to forget about the phone during the date, because all the most interesting things happen in real life, not in virtual. The girl will notice every little thing, so if you behave like a real gentleman, success is inevitable. A nice compliment. When we like someone, we want to impress them, don't we? That's why we don't wear our favorite pajamas on the first date. Instead we try to choose the most beautiful outfit. Therefore, being in your environment for the first time, the girl will certainly want to hear something pleasant in her address. You can use this to your advantage by pointing out those qualities that another person would be very pleased to hear. For example, if a girl has just finished talking about how she almost died during a hike in the mountains, you can say something like, "Wow, you are very brave." It sounds elementary, but not every guy does it. If she liked you, then from now on she will try in every possible way to emphasize this characteristic in order to interest you even more. The fact that you think she has this special quality makes her think that this is what you are looking for in a relationship with another person. That is why she will try in every possible way to show this trait of character when she is next to you. This is one of the simplest psychological techniques to please another person. The main thing is to listen carefully and say the right words at the right moment. Besides, it can be regarded as a compliment. And who doesn't like a good compliment? Balance. If you want to know how to make any girl fall in love with you, you need to master one thing perfectly: balance. When you find a girl you like, you need to avoid the same mistake that you may have made before, namely lack of balance. How to understand this? When you meet someone you feel good with, you want to spend as much time as possible chasing that feeling. But just as a surfer will be exhausted after trying to catch every wave that comes his way, your feelings for a girl will cool down if you use every opportunity to chat with her. If you know how to flirt, then you probably know that you need to constantly look for balance and control how often you spend time with a girl. Otherwise, you will be so familiar with her that she will not think of you as a rare commodity. So spend time with her, invite her on a date, write messages, do whatever you have to do to please her, but constantly leave and go about your life, paying attention to other things besides relationships. If from time to time you are unavailable for communication, then your girlfriend will miss you, and this is an incredibly powerful and attractive psychological tool. Mirror reflection. Perhaps one of the most common psychological techniques that can make a pleasant impression on a girl is mimicry, or as it is also called, mirror reflection. And it's not about looking the same as a girl. Mimicry is the process of copying emotions, facial expressions and moods, as well as the general behavior of a person in order to make him react more positively to you. This technique works because many people are drawn to those who remind them of themselves. We like the familiar because it makes us feel safe and comfortable. And if we see familiar behavioral traits in another person, we unconsciously become more disposed to him. Therefore, the next time you talk to a girl, pay attention to her behavior and try to adopt some features. Is she expressive and excited when she tells life stories? Tell your stories in exactly the same way, but don't go too far, and always remember that in any situation you still have to be yourself. After all, in the end, you can create the impression of a completely different person, who you are not at all. Well, since this is a well-known tactic of attracting a partner, then watch the behavior of your interlocutor. If she does the same tricks as you, there is a chance that you are both trying to achieve the same result. The Benjamin Franklin effect. Benjamin Franklin used the following psychological trick against his political opponents so often that it is now called the Benjamin Franklin effect. And that's how it works. Someone who has done you a favor once will be more disposed to do it again than the person to whom you owe yourself. So, in terms of dating, instead of trying to please girls by doing something for them, ask them to do something for you. It sounds illogical, but keep in mind, people do something for others only when they like them. No one will lift a finger for the sake of someone with whom it is unpleasant to communicate. And when you get acquainted with the girl, she is just beginning to make her first impression about you. Therefore, if you ask her to do you a favor, she will agree. And eventually she will think that she likes you, because she helps you. Ask them to do something simple, for example, pass the salt during dinner or bring popcorn for a movie night at your house. Since a girl makes such kind gestures because she likes you, eventually she will do them more often to please you even more. Obviously, in this case, you need to keep a balance and not overdo it with requests, because then she may think that you are trying to take advantage of her grace. Well, if you occasionally ask a girl to do some simple things for you, then she will convince herself that she is doing it because she likes you. And this is a pretty strong and pleasant feeling. Well, as a bonus, we will tell you tips that will help you start a conversation with any girl. Keep it simple. Be simpler, that is, do not fill your head with some bad thoughts and do not complicate it. You don't need any special thought-out plan to start a conversation with a girl. It will be enough just to make eye contacts, say hello. If your head is full of thoughts about how you look, then from the outside you will look more like a person who is trying in every possible way to convince the interlocutor that he is not going to kill him tonight. A light smile and a friendly attitude are all you need to start a conversation. I have to keep the conversation going is another question, but here there are a few tricks that will help you in communicating with the opposite sex. Cheat sheet questions. Once you have greeted each other, you can continue the question in the question and answer form. There are so-called cheat sheet questions that perfectly help in this matter. Again, you don't need a clear thought-out conversation plan, but it never hurts to have a few prepared questions in your arsenal, especially in a situation when you don't know what to fill the pause with. As a rule, it is best to start with questions about your companion, so after greeting her, ask her how was your day? Or listen, have you already tried this dish changed? Or do you like these musicians? And so on. In general, simple questions. If you are confident in yourself and want to make an indelible impression, then ask something like, if you had the opportunity, what would you prefer to manage? Water and fire, earth or air? If you could become any person for 24 hours, who would you want to wake up in? In fact, it is not so important what kind of questions you will ask, but such more intricate questions imply a more detailed answer and you can already start from it. If from the first minutes you seem to be a pleasant interlocutor, then any conversation will go in the right direction, and your companion will gladly support any topic raised. And the main advice. Sometimes, no matter what advice you use, the conversation still doesn't fit. You can do everything right and be the most charming man on the planet, but girls, as well as all of us, sometimes have moments when we are not in the mood to communicate with other people. Sometimes girls want to be alone so that they are not disturbed. Therefore, always pay attention to how the girl reacts to the conversation that has begun. If her behavior shows that she is not ready or does not want to talk to you, just step back and do not try to impose communication on her. Also, don't waste your time. If a girl avoids eye contact, gives boring monosyllabic answers, or doesn't really listen to you, then it's worth admitting that the interlocutor is not very interested in you. And whatever her reason, unwillingness to communicate with you, she does not have to share it. So instead of aggravating the situation by asking why she is so shy or angry at her after she politely tells you that she is not interested in you, read the body language. You can understand much more by it than by words. So just don't worry and find another girl. And that's it. And in the comments, write how many girls' numbers you have in your phone, and also like this video if you haven't done it yet. You have time to do it right now, as well as subscribe and click the bell so as not to miss all the most thermonuclear tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and also check out the previous issues.